On Saturday, AEW presents its 7th annual All Out event, and I am very excited for this card. We have 10 matches we're looking at, so make sure you play along by putting your predictions in the comment section below. Starting off, we have Adam Copeland and Christian Cage taking on FTR in a tag team match. This has been a great rivalry that has Adam Copeland and Christian Cage reuniting. I believe it's their first tag team match together on a pay-per-view in over 20 years. I could be wrong on that, but it's something incredible like that. What I'm most shocked about for this match is that it's not for the tag team championships. I thought for sure that FTR was going to win the tag team championships at All In, but they didn't, so that makes me think that Adam Copeland and Christian Cage are going to win and then go on to challenge for the tag team championships, and they didn't want to have that whole story be about reuniting and taking on the personal rivalry of FTR and also throwing the tag team titles as well. But I also could see it play in where FTR has been tag teaming for a long time now, and they're in tag team matches every week, and Adam Copeland and Christian Cage haven't been. They're just recently reunited, so it could be the story of FTR has been there, done that. They're kind of the best at tag team wrestling right now, and so that gives them the advantage, and I could see them using that where some sort of slip up where Adam Copeland and Christian Cage are on the same page that allows FTR to get a distraction win or a roll up. But I also could see the other way where they kind of pull them into a false sense of confidence and then turn it on, and then that's how Adam and Christian win. So while I see both ways, I am going to go with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage to win and then go on to the challenge for the AEW Tag Team Championships. I think their next event is World End in December. The next match is a trios match between the Hurt Syndicate and Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. I think it's been a fun callback between the Ricochet and the Hurt Syndicate of them not letting Ricochet in, and now we're finally getting that kind of storyline payoff a couple of months to a year later, and I honestly think that Ricochet and the Gates of Agony should win. I think they should move on to potentially being the Trios champions. I think Ricochet has done absolutely incredible character work in AEW, and he deserves to get a title because of that. And if they don't want to put a single title on him, the Trios championship is absolutely perfect for Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. We've seen the Hurt Syndicate be champions. We've seen them even have like a program with MJF joining the ranks, and I think it's okay for them to take a backseat for once, have them lose, and then go on and watch someone else go into that Trios championship. Next, we have Mercedes Moné defending her TBS championship against Riho, and while I think Riho is great, I don't think they're going to take a belt off of Mercedes Moné, as she's now 9 belts from Mercedes Moné. So I think they're going to let her retain the title, and I think we're going to build to an eventual rematch between her and Timeless Toni Storm, and I don't think they're going to take any belts off of Mercedes. And also going into that Women's World Championship match between Timeless Toni Storm defending against Jamie Hayter, Kris Statlander, and Thekla, I think Toni's going to win that match as well. Now, if we do build to a Mercedes Moné and Timeless Toni Storm rematch, I think they might let Toni win, because I think eventually Jamie Hayter is going to be the woman to take that title off of Toni Storm, but you don't want to take it off in a fatal 4-way. If you're going to take a long title reign like Toni Storm's has been, and you're going to take that belt and put on someone else, put it in a one-on-one match, give that new champion that rub of finally defeating that long reigning champion like Hangman Page did against Jon Moxley. So I think Jamie Hayter will eventually defeat Toni Storm, but in this match I have Timeless Toni Storm winning. Speaking of Jon Moxley, he now takes on Darby Allin in a coffin match, and I think it is far too soon to have Darby Allin return and lose, especially in a coffin match where you don't really get some sort of negative of you're not going to get pinned, you're not going to get submitted. All that happens is you get it put in a coffin, they close the lid, and you lose the match. So with Moxley tapping out to Hangman last month, it could be nice to have him still lose and put over Darby Allin without him having to take a pinfall loss. While I do love Hangman as champion, it looks like they were building towards a Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley match for that title, and Darby was finally going to capture the world championship, but then he went on to climb Mount Everest and was gone for so many months. So I think Darby is due a win over Jon Moxley. Just might not be for the title, but it could be in a coffin match, and that's how they give him the win. So I think it's going to be a very fun match. I'm sure the Death Riders will get involved, but I'm going to say that Darby Allin defeats Jon Moxley. Speaking of extreme matches, we have a tables and tacks match from MJF taking on Mark Briscoe. I'm a huge fan of MJF, and I'd like to see him win, but I don't think that's the story they're going to tell. I think with MJF still having his contract that he can cash in at any time to get his World Championship match, he doesn't really need to be winning matches, because at any point he can sign it and get that world title match. So I think you can help build up Mark Briscoe by giving him that huge win over MJF, and you can do so in an extreme way with tables and tacks and maybe some other outside interference. But I think Mark Briscoe is actually the correct call here, because again, MJF does not lose anything by actually losing. He can weasel his way out of it, he can talk his way out of losing to Mark Briscoe, and at any point he can cash in that contract and he can get that world title match instantly. So he needs to build himself up to a world title contender. He is always going to be a world title contender, and what better way of building other stars than to have Mark Briscoe defeat MJF. Now, these next two matches are not completely decided yet, as I'm filming this on Tuesday night. So we have Kazuchika Okada defending his AEW Unified Championship against Konosuke Takeshita and either Mascara Dorada or the Beast Mortos. I believe that match is happening on Wednesday Night Dynamite, and I think the Beast is going to win, and I'm going to have Okada retaining his title. I don't think it's time to take the belt off Okada, but if you do, he could go into that world title feud against Adam Page, and if you are going to do that, I think Takeshita is a great competitor to put that title on, but I'm really enjoying Okada as his champion, so I want to see him retain that, and I'll keep having these awesome matches. If there was one person I thought was going to beat Okada, I really thought it was going to be Omega at the last pay-per-view, but Okada did retain that because of the Don Callis family, so I think that might play into that factor as well in the finish here. So I'm saying Okada wins, and he's probably going to pin either the Beast Mortos or Dorada. And that other match is a fatal 4-way ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, and it's Brodito versus 3 teams that are to be determined. And while I can't predict a winner because the other teams aren't really determined, I do think it's way too early to take the titles off of Brodito. They're doing some of the best work of their careers, and you reward that by giving them the titles, and you don't take it away from them so soon. So I don't know who they're going to put in this match besides them, but I am going to say that Brodito is going to retain the titles. With 2 matches left on the card, if you haven't already, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more wrestling. We have a match that's been heavily debated on why they announced it already versus you could have had an incredible surprise return, and that's Eddie Kingston versus Big Bill, and everyone was talking about how you could have just had Eddie Kingston return at All Out. You didn't need to announce the match. Then sources are coming out saying that they did this to try and build more hype for the pay-per-view, and I see either way. I understand wanting those surprise moments, those surprise returns, because those are always incredible, but I also understand trying to announce it beforehand because they are going head-to-head with WWE WrestlePalooza, so the more eyes I can get on this card, the better. And if even one person who's a huge Eddie Kingston fan hears he's going to have a match, that might just create a new AEW fan. So I see both ways. I also heard that it might be an Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho feud after this match, which makes sense because Big Bill's in the learning tree and Chris Jericho is the head of that. So I don't know if they're going to do that, if it would have Chris Jericho either cost Eddie the match, and that allows them to have a rivalry, but I don't want Eddie to lose his return match, and I don't like the idea of having Big Bill go over Eddie Kingston. So I'm going to say that Eddie Kingston defeats Big Bill, that's something afterwards, maybe Chris Jericho returns afterwards and attacks Eddie Kingston to set up their future rivalry, but I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston defeating Big Bill. And in our main event, we have Hangman Adam Page defending his AEW World Championship against Kyle Fletcher, and I am so excited for this match. Kyle Fletcher is absolutely finding his groove, and as the TNT champion, he is putting on some of the best matches on television. But that's exactly why I don't think he's going to win. 1, Hangman just beat Jon Moxley at that huge reign. You don't give him the title just to take it off him right away. And 2, it's not a title versus title match. It's only the World Championship on the line, so Kyle Fletcher can lose and still be TNT champion. That still gives him momentum and still gives him credibility. So I don't think they would have Hangman lose his title to put both the World Championship and the TNT Championship on Kyle Fletcher right now. So while this is the match I'm honestly most excited for in terms of the in-ring work, I think the finish is very predictable, and it's going to be Hangman Adam Page defeating Kyle Fletcher. It does have the Don Callis family banned from ringside, so maybe a new member of the Callis family could get introduced and try to attack Hangman Adam Page to his next rivalry, but I'm not sure how they're going to actually finish the event. We're going to have Hangman Adam Page standing tall. Again, make sure you drop your predictions in the comment section below so you can see if you get more right than me. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.